Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. Now this is a long and big, bulky review because I'm now actually pretty close to caught up to where the webtoon is at. I'm way past what the anime is gonna go for the next 4 years, I'd say. If the anime lasts for 4 years, honestly, I'm so far now into the story, which I'm so glad. I know a lot of things now ahead of time, but I'm just gonna give you my raw thoughts of what I thought back before I went ahead. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna give you any of my thoughts that are built from what I've read ahead. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be no spoilers, zero spoilers, and any thoughts that ended up if they end up coming true or not, it's literally because I just thought of that when I was reading it. I caught up to everything in about a week, week and a half maybe. So everything is still fresh in my brain. So there's definitely no like bias of like, oh, what I'm thinking now versus what I thought then. Okay, just to let that out there. But first, before we start the video, just leave a like, leave a comment. It really helps the channel. Doing these videos takes way more effort than you think. You have to write a lot of notes to remember a lot of things, and it takes time, and I enjoy doing it, but I also enjoy seeing support and comments and having discussions. So if you disagree with anything, let's have a chat about it. If you know, agree with anything, also let me know down below. If you like the video, leave a like. If you don't, also leave a dislike. I'm okay with negative or positive reaction as long as I get some reaction, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get right into it, man. Sorry for the long ass intro. Anyway, so we're at chapter 28. Bam finally wakes up. Our boy been conked off for a few days now. He's only a day away from his test, so you know he's waking up and just going straight to to his class. Sorry, not his test, his class. So Rachel actually had told Khan, as I talked about in the previous chapter, not to tell Bam about her. So now Rack is doing his test, you know what I'm saying, and he basically they have to throw like a spear from like a super long distance, you know what I'm saying, and the shit is like barely visible. Rack misses his first goal. This big guy called Ghost, he pulls up and just blah, one shot, and he just zooms through the sky like a bullet. Breaks to that shit, bro. Rack is jealous as hell. We will come back to that shit later. You know what I'm saying? So he's obviously gonna probably try a million times. Then we get Lori, who is Sleepyhead. You know, Sleepyhead, Lori. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Leroy. Yeah, I must say, I think it's Leroy is how to pronounce it, right? Leroy. Leroy is helping out Bam in class because they're doing wave control, and he's already, as we saw during the previous test where Rachel wanted to help Bam win. He blasted a massive wave of wave control, you know, of wave beam, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He used wave control essentially. He fucking what's the actual name again? You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so he's already beast with the shit. Now it turns out that Bam obviously has an affinity for it because of what he did to save Rachel, to protect Rachel. So he's going into the class, and Leroy was like, look, since I know this shit, I'm gonna help you, bum ass. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ho is also in that class. Now, because again, it's a big bulk review, I'm just going to tell you what happens within the bulk, right? So within that bulk, we obviously discover later on that Ho is super jealous of Bam, and we'll get to that when we kind of reach closer to talking about that part of the story. Then we have Anak. Hats has to apologize on behalf of Anak for taking the sword away from Bam, the needle, you know what I'm saying? So the black mash needle, you know what I'm saying? So that, but Khan was like, why are you like turning your back on your teammate just because that's not very swordsman like, you know what I'm saying? But because obviously Hats and Shibisu disagreed with her action of taking the black mash. But she does what she wants. It's Anak, you know what I'm saying? Daughter of Jihad, you know what I'm saying? So now Rachel has a dream, and this is, I think, maybe where we begin to we're beginning to learn more about what's in Rachel's mind. Now we gotta admit the fact that she did try to save, help Bam in the previous in the previous battle. Now she's still hiding her identity. We're not 100% sure why, but again, I think it's what I explained in my previous review, where it's basically she just doesn't want him to follow her. But she has a dream here, a very interesting dream. I think the author maybe is trying to give us a hint here on what how mental she's mentally going through, right? Basically, she sees Bam getting more and more friends and getting more and more people, and Rachel herself, she sees herself just being there alone, by herself, and maybe that kind of goes into her psyche and why she doesn't want Bam to come along, because she feels like maybe Bam will take the shine away from her, or Bam will take the attention away from her, and she just wants it to be about her for now. Because when they were in that cave, she was helping Bam. It was all about Bam, right? Everything was about Bam. Bam didn't know anything, so she had to raise a child, essentially. And now she just wants to be free from that burden, almost, it seems. Like, I can kind of feel a bit of sympathy for her here. You know what I'm saying? I actually, genuinely, I feel a little... Sorry, I had to handle something. But yeah, basically talking about Rachel, maybe she's not as much of a villain as we all like to think. Maybe it's understandable after taking care of somebody like that for so long. And you're not their parents. You're a kid too. So seems like a toughie, man. Seems like a toughie, bro. I'm just saying. I'm not sympathizing. I'm kind of sympathizing with her, actually, to be honest. Anyway, we meet in Dorsey, right? In Dorsey, her and her as the daughter of, she's the daughter of Jihad, you know what I'm saying? And she has this phenomenal shoes analogy when they're talking about dating, and because they need hats to get friends, to pass his test or to pass his class, you know what I'm saying? So basically, he has to try to fill up a list, and he's just not great at making friends. He's not Shibusi, you know what I'm saying? He ain't got the sauce like that, like my boy tracksuit, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm rocking a tracksuit looking thing, even though it's not a tracksuit, but whatever. So basically, she's talking about how the daughters of Jihad can't date, they can't have babies, they can't get married, because they're given a portion of Jihad's power, you know what I'm saying? And later on, just again, it's within the bulk that I'm reviewing. Later on, we find out that basically, we I feel like one of those pop star singers, but we find out that that the daughters of Jihad are chosen, so they're not biological daughters, and they are essentially like the king's personal guards. You know what I'm saying? But basically, yeah, she talks about that analogy, how that they're just basically very nice shoes in front of a store, right? And you can see it, but you can't touch it. You know what I'm saying? But occasionally, sometimes the shoes walk away. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they step away from the glass, from the shoes that aren't on sale, but you just look at. You know what I'm saying? They display shoes, but sometimes they walk away. You know what I'm saying? And that the shoes represent the daughters, obviously. So Anakin and Dorsey obviously still not getting along for whatever reason. So they do fight each other during one of their fisherman class tests. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to just push somebody off the ledge, essentially. Like there's a ring, and like it's there's yeah, you basically push them off. If you push them off, and when there's 8 people left, then the class is over, and the people you pass or you don't pass depending on whatever. You get higher marks essentially for being one of the last 8 people. The 2 of them start kung fu chopping because Anak is still pissed off and started, about her, calling her fake, and starts attacking her. And they'll beating other people while fighting each other. Anak, in Dorsey especially, shows her absolute finesse and drip power. She using other people's hands and shit, slapping up, dapping up, you know what I'm saying, killing niggas left, right, and center. You know what I'm saying? During this time, Aguero discovers the truth about Anak. In the lighthouse, he does some research and finds out that, wait a minute, the real Anak died ages ago. So who the fuck is this Anak? You know what I'm saying? Why is she claiming to be Anak if the real Anak died ages ago? And this is actually where we learn about the adopted daughters of Jara. That's why I kind of just mentioned the thing about them being the king's personal guards, because it leads perfectly into this section. Then we have Ho, Blondie. You know what I'm saying? Blondie, blonde. He's still jealous. He's still jealous of Bam out here, and he's kind of pissed off that Bam is doing so well in his class, in their class. And she's just like, how does this guy have such, how can he progress so rapidly? How can he have such a natural affinity for this shit? You know what I'm saying? And he meets Ryun as he's walking out. You know what I'm saying? And Ryun looks interesting. Now Ryun, if you don't remember, is the girl with the mask that Bam broke the mask, and she had this kind of ocular eye on her face. She's the one with the staff, the golden staff, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Rune. Now, then Bam is worried because Endorsi and Anak actually, when they fought, they drew, and they both got injured, right? And when they both got injured, we discover a bit more about Anak here and about her mother, and we find out here that what I suppose Kanagura might have suspected is that Anak is actually the daughter of the real Anak. And as Anak's mother was a daughter of Jahad, and again, the whole glass analogy, they're not supposed to fall in love and be in love and get married and stuff like that. She did fall in love, she did get married, and she did have a kid. And obviously because of that, she was being hunted down by by his assassins or whatever, by people, by the royal something, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really say, but the royal, I think it said assassin, but the royals, they try to attack her. They've been tracing her, looking for her. When they discover where she is, the sad part about the whole family story is that basically she doesn't have, like, her parents don't seem to get along that well, but it seems to be kind of like cute arguments where the father is a cook, is a chef, and he promised her, the world, and that life will be much better with him than being a princess. But obviously she likes the shit, she liked or loved the shit that came with being a princess, the top quality food, the top quality clothes, the all that high life type shit, you know what I'm saying? High fashion, high standard, top tier, fucking upper echelon shit, you know what I'm saying? And obviously he can't provide that, but he did provide a beautiful daughter for them and a great family, you know what I'm saying? So when they eventually found them, she obviously made sure that Anak escaped, and I think handed her the green April, you know what I'm saying, and went on her way. But she smiled, you know what I'm saying? She never regretted it. She smiled, she was happy that her daughter is here, regardless of her dying because of it, you know what I'm saying? So that was just a phenomenal way to showcase that, like, yeah, she cares about her, and she didn't regret it. She didn't regret living a lower tier life because she got her daughter and she got the man of her dreams, you know what I'm saying? So that was beautiful. Yeah. So since they both got injured anyway, Anakin and Darcy, they might possibly fail their class. And Bam wants to do something about that. Bless me. Bam wants to do something about that, and because Bam wants to do something about that, Khan likes his Bam. So Khan is like, look, first of all, people, that by us helping them, we're actually inadvertently making somebody else fail. And every time we do this, you get involved, you taking somebody else's opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that, Bam. You know what I'm saying? And I think Khan is a very good teacher when it comes to teaching Bam's certain things that I think he's not so acutely aware of. But Khan Agura comes up with a plan, and it's like, and sends Bam and sends Shibusi. So Shibusi sent to Anak to basically convince her to sign the letter for Hats, right? Because Hats still doesn't have enough friends on his list. And then Bam is told to go help Endorsi. Now here's where the shoe analogy gets really, really interesting, because her golden shoes get a bit destroyed, almost like, as in they, you know what I mean? Which kind of might represent her doing what Anak's mother did and maybe falling in love with Bam, or liking Bam and wanting to be with Bam regardless of the whole princess thing. And now remember, she ain't even up that level. She's not even Yuri level of princess. You know what I'm saying? But boom, she already sick of this shit. She want love, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they have a cute moment in the room, and Bam accidentally spills the food all over her. And then I obviously my boy Shibusu, you know what I'm saying, pulls up to Anak, and Anak is just scary, bro. She's just like, give me that goddamn food, and Shibusu's like, okay, here you go. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad again for Rachel. She's living in secret. She got a hoodie up. She's just, you know what I mean. She's just she has to spend her points to buy food just to eat privately because takeaway is more expensive. All of that just to avoid this fucking shitty dude called Bam. You know what I'm saying? And I like Bam, but like in her perspective, it's a shitty dude that like, I've done too much for this guy. I'm sick of this guy. I want my own life. I want my own freedom. This is probably a different perspective than you guys expected, huh? Especially since I told you I hated her. But you know, she meets up with Endorsi, who's always doing her makeup because she always wants to look like a fucking idol. And basically, she just reminds Endorsi that, you know, please just don't tell Bam. And Endorsi just doesn't get it because, like, how can a man swooning for you like that, a handsome one too, swooning for you like that, and willing to give everything up for you, and you don't even appreciate it? I just don't get why you just won't tell him. You know what I'm saying? But she insists. Now it turns out that when Endorsi wrote the name on the friends list, which I'm assuming she probably didn't know was for hats, she actually wrote down Rachel, first friend Rachel. That's what she put. But obviously I don't think Bam read it because it's for hats. So basically then Ho, remember Blondie that I keep talking about every now and then, he gets a note thrown into his room, and it basically says that there's a way we can make Bam fail. You know what I'm saying? And he walks outside, he's like, who's there? And somebody walks out and is like, yo, what's up? And he's like, oh, no, nothing, it's all good. And then he's like, oh, the weather's nice or some shit. And then he walks back in his room. So we're going to see if he's going to actually try to make Bam fail or not. Hopefully not. Leave Bam alone. You know. So for the last bit, I suppose we'll talk about the supervisor who sets up the final test, which is a hide and seek type game with a ranker as the seeker, right? So they have the ranker as the seeker. Now, Ro actually disagrees with this whole thing, but he doesn't really want to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Because again, he's working. He's a worker, and the supervisor is there, kind of hiring him. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't want to get into a confrontation, and he wished that he can say it out loud, but he just couldn't. Now Quaint walks in, and he's being the supervisor's dog, bringing him coffee and just being a little bitch, but mainly because of the whole 200 people dying and Rachel's team annihilating everyone, because obviously Endorsi and Ghost being absolute beasts. So because of that, you know, Quaint kind of owes the supervisor. Quaint is the red-haired rancor, by the way, just in case you guys aren't, you know what I'm saying. I know the names are kind of tough. Now, you know, so Quaint is going to be the seeker during that test, and obviously he's a ranker, so he's way overpowered to be doing the job, but he's doing it anyway. Then we have Rack and Ghost who qualified early. Now, there's a part I skipped on purpose that I'm going to get back to, just because I want to talk about that a little bit more in detail. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see when I get there. But Rack and Ghost were the only people to qualify early because of that Spirit Throne competition. The distance was so crazy, but Rack eventually got it. Ghost got it on the first try, first day, easy work. But it doesn't show us Rack doing it, but it just says that Rack has it done. Now they end up, you know, the next day the test is happening, and Kun's team is first, and it consists of Shibusi, you know what I'm saying, shout out to Shibusi and Anak and a bunch of other irrelevant people, you know what I'm saying. But also Sleepyhead Leroy is also in that team. So it's an interesting team. I suppose we'll get into detail for that on my next review video. But we're gonna stop that part there. But basically, Kun he recommends himself as a leader, and you know, the rest of the team, you know, Shibusa's like, "Pff, I'm not against it." Everybody then just agrees with it, and he becomes the leader. So he sets up a strategy to beat the Ranker Quaint. Super interesting, right? So I can't wait to review the next few bits. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the results of the previous test, essentially the test, the King of the Hill slash Capture the Flag test. Out of that, they kind of ranked the best people per position, and I think you know I found it very interesting for some of the rankings. So I suppose we'll go through them. I think I'll put it on screen for you guys so you can see when I added this. All right. Okay. So okay, fishermen, right? Fishermen are almost like the front line. You know what I'm saying? They're super strong. I think them and wave controllers are probably the most powerful. So we got, okay, the best seed, Anak, and then Anak is actually the best seed. She got #1 ahead of Endorsi, mainly because Endorsi didn't really display much. She didn't really bother. But she got #1 as the best seed because she brought out the April, the green April, and she was marking left, right, and center. And that's an ignition weapon. And it's interesting, Endorsi doesn't seem to have an ignition weapon, even though she's a princess. Maybe she hasn't reached the rank to gain one yet. I think you have to like rise up and get really, really strong to get one. Then I don't care about Chanwa, don't care about that, don't care about him. Yeah, none of the guys are relevant from there. Then we go to spear bearers and we have Ghost. Obviously, Ghost is the big ass dude. And then we have Rack Rate Razor, aka Crocodile. So the Crocodile, he's obviously #2. And they don't have a best seed for that, actually, for some reason. But I'm assuming Ghost is the best seed, right? But it doesn't seem they have a best seed for that. Maybe because there was no real way. The previous test doesn't allow one to fully display the abilities of a spear bearer, right? Then we have the light bearer, and the best seed for that is Conaguera. Now the light bearer is the person that's in charge of the lighthouse. So they're the strategist of the team essentially. And then you know Michelle Light came in second with Leron third and Leron Tree. We don't care about these guys. All right, then we have the scout and Shibusi. Now he was actually so shocked by this. He was so shocked and baffled by this that he was like, did I what you call it? I'm so bad at words. How do you call? Did I blackmail you to do this? Did I like pay you off? Like what did I do to get best? How did I get best seed? Shibisi's confused. He has no idea how he got best seed for Scout. And he's just completely. He's like, what's going? How am I Scout? Now Scout is what I think Evan is, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think Evan is a Scout for Yuri. And so, you know, it's an interesting role. Does it fit Shibisi? Maybe, possibly, I guess so. But yeah, so that was interesting. Ahead of Hats, who's also a scout for some reason, which was also kind of like a strange decision. But yeah, Shibisi is a scout and Hats is a scout. And Shibisi is the best seed. I don't really know what he displayed. He's my favorite character, but I have no idea what he displayed to be #1 seed. But hey, he did it. Then we have Wave Controller and we got Ponsakal Leroy. As you know, I think his best seed. It doesn't say best seed, but I'm assuming his best seed. I'm assuming Ghost is also best seed, but we don't really know just because obviously. But surely Leroy was best seed, but it's hard to tell again because there wasn't a lot of opportunity for people to use what's the power called? I'm gonna just say Wave for now, but you know, there's actual name for it. For some reason, it slipped my head in this video. Forgive me for that. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. This has been chapter 28 to chapter 37. That's a lot, right? Yeah. It's been your boy Supremacy the God again. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a dislike, whatever you're feeling. Let's have a conversation, all that shit. Can't wait to catch up with you guys on all the reviews. It's been your boy Supremacy the God, and I'm out.